Barcelona is home to many complex but extraordinarily beautiful constructions. Buildings whose patterns defy the laws of nature and fine architecture that baffles the human mind. You'd simply be wonderstruck to see their beauty for buildings that were built ages ago. The Sagrada Familia from 1882 stands out as one of Barcelona's finest, still under construction, even after more than a century. This is of course highly unusual for such a relatively modern building, and we definitely will delve deeper into that why aspect of the Sagrada Familia of Barcelona as the video progresses. But if there's one thing we can assure you, it is that the Sagrada Familia is meant to be nothing but a pure masterpiece. For some background, the Sagrada Familia is only but a minor basilica. The building has brought more than its fair share of divisions to the people of Barcelona. It is a bit like a child whose wards do not know what to do with it. If you were to take a Sagrada Familia tour, you would learn that the building has many interesting facts and a unique story. Now, let's take a closer look at some of these interesting facts and history behind the Sagrada Familia. Antoni Gaudi, the architect who designed most of the Sagrada Familia, is buried in the crypt. This particular fact can either be creepy or extremely fascinating. You may not feel very strongly about this fact, and it could be regular nonchalance or psychopathy. The crypt is open to visitors who wish to see it for themselves. It's also an excellent opportunity to visit the lower levels of the building. Gaudi died at age 74, shortly after being hit by a vehicle. He spent the latter part of his life working on the Sagrada Familia, so it's quite fitting that he was buried there. Gaudi was the second architect to work on the project. The Sagrada is the testimony of the beautiful minds inspired in Barcelona. As the art critic Rainer Zerbs stated in his book, it is probably impossible to find a church building anything like it in the entire history of art. Gaudi is known as the mind behind the Sagrada Familia, and rightly so. But he wasn't the only mind involved. Initially, a renowned architect Franciso de Paula del Villar was contracted to head the project. However, after a year, he quit due to disagreements with Joan Mardual, the architect advising the then president of the association that commissioned it. The crypt where Gaudi is buried is the only part of the building that brings Franciso de Paula del Villar's plans to life. The building site was once home to a school. Gaudi built the Sagrada Familia schools for the children of the construction workers. Now the school is an exhibition site. Although it was built for the children of the construction workers, children from the neighborhood also attended the school. Mostly they were from struggling families. The school building has even inspired several architects across the years thanks to its genius design. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 1984, Sagrada Familia was UNESCO World Heritage Site. The building has a very unique architecture and is an excellent representation of Gaudi's creativity and artistic ability. Gaudi's genius is so well portrayed by his works that 6 more of them are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. It is Gaudi's masterpiece. Gaudi apparently abandoned his other projects to focus solely on the Sagrada Familia. This happened towards the end of his career and shows just how dedicated he was to the project. As a matter of fact, he went on to make it his magnum opus and declined any different commissions he received while working on the Sagrada Familia. Even projects he personally undertook weren't completed because of the Sagrada Familia. One of the projects was a monument to his friend Bishop Joseph Torres. Unfortunately, the monument was never built, and the bust of the bishop that Gaudi made was destroyed in the Civil War. It has been under construction for more than a century. As promised now, to why the Sagrada Familia has been under construction for more than 100 years. Hopefully, you got your drink in hand. Right from the beginning, the Sagrada Familia depended on private donations as funding, and it still does even now. It costs about $25 million annually, and that money comes from tourists and private donations. Because of this, the construction work progressed slowly. So slowly, in fact, that only about a quarter of it was complete at the time of Gaudi's death. As if that were not enough, when the Spanish Civil War started in 1936, a significant portion of the original plans, drawings, and models were destroyed after revolutionaries broke into the workshop. It took about 16 years for the plans to be pieced back together into something useful. Thankfully, technology saved the day, and the next point will explain just how so. Technology has significantly increased the speed of construction. Computers have only been around for so long. Formerly, all drawing plans needed to be hand-sketched. As you can imagine, that made construction work slower compared to today, especially for a building that large and detailed. However, the construction process sped up enough thanks to modern technology, and the building was more than halfway done in 2010. The construction workers no longer needed to depend on hand-drawn sketches to work. Now the work is much faster thanks to new technology. Modern technology came to the rescue like a knight in shining armor to save Sagrada Familia. A welcome turn of events for such a magnificent building. There is not going to be a building like the, and no, not because its architects are long gone, but its inspiration is definitely out of this world, if you ask me. We hope you learned something new and interesting in this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and check out our other videos in the description. There is more where this came from.